Hello, today I'm going to show you how I made this raspberry cake. It's actually made from peas, believe it or not. So we have chickpeas as the main ingredient, and you can see I've baked it with raspberries inside it. And then it's not cream on the top, it's 0.1% fat fromage frais. And I'll let you know how it tastes because I haven't tasted it yet, but hopefully it will taste nice. And I'll show you how I made it next. So the ingredients for this are a tin of chickpeas, a couple of lemons you'll zest, take the grate those, 0.1% fromage frais, or you can use quark, some baking powder. I've got 3 eggs. I'm going to use a bit of dark chocolate to decorate the top, a couple of packets of raspberries, dust it with some icing sugar. I'm using a little bit of this natural fruit sugar. It's 3 times sweeter than normal sugar. It's equivalent Syns per spoon or tablespoon, and I'm making up the rest of it with Splenda. So I've got my sugar here. I'll prepare the rest of the ingredients and then I'll come back. The first thing to do is drain and rinse your chickpeas. Grate your lemon rind, so you've got that. I've got half a teaspoon of baking powder. I've grated some chocolate that I'm going to use for the top. What I'm going to do now is separate the eggs out and get the yolks and blend that with the chickpeas and the baking powder and also the lemon rind. I'll be back with you in a moment. What we've got now is the chickpeas that have blitzed in a food processor. Make sure you blitz them well. I don't think you want to find a chickpea in the middle of your cake. I've whisked up the egg whites because I separated those from the yolks. The yolks actually went in here with the chickpeas. So egg yolks and chickpeas blitzed together, egg whites and half of the sugar. Oh, well, it shouldn't say Splenda. Half of the Splenda and fruit sugar that I had measured out. Half of that goes into the egg whites. So what I'm going to do now is just pop the rest of the Splenda and the fruit sugar in there. Half a teaspoon of baking powder and the lemon rind. So I'm just going to now mix that together, and then I'm going to fold in the egg whites, and then I'll be with you. So to keep it light and fluffy, that's why I had whisked the egg whites, and I folded those into the chickpea mix. And I'm going to fold in now some raspberries that I've just washed, and then I'm going to transfer it into a greased baking tin. I think if I'm using a silicone mold, but if you're using a metal one, you probably should use some grease-proof paper as well. So I'll show you what it looks like before I pop it in the oven. So I've put about half of the raspberries in and spooned the mixture in. I've kept some of the raspberries that I'm going to use to put on the top of the cake once it's baked. So I'll pop it in the oven and let you see it when it comes out. So while the cake is in the oven, what I've done is taken the fromage frais, the 0.1% fromage frais, mixed that with 2 tablespoons of Splenda, and that's what I'm going to put on top of the cake along with some raspberries and the dark chocolate gratings that I've got. Some of the recipes that I've used and combined to make this recipe say that you should use the juice of the lemon off on the cake after it's cooked and drizzle that on. I actually squeezed a little tiny bit of the lemon juice into the chickpea mixture because my food blender was having problems processing the chickpeas, so just to thin it down a little bit. But apparently if you put too much lemon juice in, it makes the cake quite wet. So yeah, let's just see what the cake looks like when it comes out of the oven. So I've just taken the cake out of the oven. It's been in about 20 minutes. I started it off at 200, but I think that was a bit too vicious, so I turned it down to 180 degrees. So I'm just going to let it cool now, and while I'm letting it cool, I'll work out the Syns as well. And then I'll turn it over and put the fromage frais that I have and the raspberries on it, and sprinkle the chocolate sprinkles, and I'll let you see the finished product. So I've let the cake cool and turned it out. That's what it looks like once it's turned out. It's quite thin. I didn't make enough mixture possibly. I would have made a little bit more, or actually make two of them and then you could layer two on top of each other to make a really big cake that's low in Syns. So what I'll do now is just get the fromage frais that I added some Splenda to earlier and just decorate it with that, some of the raspberries, the chocolate sprinkles, and I'll come back and show you what the finished product looks like. So here we have the finished cake. I've put the fromage frais that it's sweetened on top. I've put some raspberries on top and some dark chocolate sprinkles. It looks like a retro 1970s trifle. Anyway, it's about 5 Syns in total for the cake. So there's no fat, believe it or not, no flour, a cake made from chickpeas. So I'll actually cut it up, taste it, and I'll put some comments on the YouTube to let you know what it actually tastes like. Just to make sure it tastes nice, because obviously when you're cooking with peas it doesn't sound the most attractive, and it certainly didn't smell, the actual chickpeas when they were blended down didn't smell exactly like a sweet raspberry cake. So I'll let you know what it tastes like on the commentary on YouTube. Thanks, bye!